Jarrad, not the performance you would have liked after the last few weeks. What sort of was different for you, I suppose, from last week to this week?
Yeah, well, first of all, we're really disappointed that we didn't really turn up. Yeah, and big day for the football club. One for the fans to turn out and see us in our last home game. Sending Andrew Gaff off, Gribbers 250th. So yeah, the disappointment there, as you can tell, from everyone. We're not shying away from that, but just shows that this game's brutal. And we've shown all year, and I've said it before, that our best is good enough. And then when you're off and you're not committed to it, through choices that you make, whether it's through work rate, being clean around the contest, if you collectively don't have the numbers to get it done, you get exposed. And we came up against a side that had a lot to play for, but so did we. A lot to play for, finals on the line, and they were far superior. So it just shows that we have got a lot of work to do as a football club. And we have 1 week to go in this season, and then we have a big pre-season ahead of us.
How do you ensure that this disappointment doesn't carry over into next week, considering that is the end of your season and you don't get complacent, I suppose?
Well, there's no complacency, I'll tell you that right now. Once again, as we've done even in the wins, we'll review the game, we'll be accountable to what the game told us, and we'll get ready in the 6-day break to go down to Geelong. Tough road trip, but once again, it's another opportunity for us to show that we want to continue to get better as a football side. Otherwise, we're not here to roll over, but we know that we've got a lot of work ahead of us. We're exposing young fellas, we've got senior blokes, they've had long seasons, but not shying away from the fact that collectively we weren't good enough today, and we've got to make sure that we butter up and get ready for next week.
Have you got any read or feedback from the players on why they didn't turn up when you had milestones and farewells on the line?
Look, I can't answer on their behalf. You go into a game thinking that you're well prepared, but we've shown throughout the course of this year and the year before that we can be very good, and then we can be in games, and then games get away from us for whatever reason. Today there was the contest, inside the clearance, they had their way. Especially in the second quarter. We lost our way in terms of our overall system on the ground, and when you lose that connection, the game can get away from you, and then you're trying to fight hard to come back from that. And we did that against North. This week we were playing against a different beast in Carlton. But the disappointing thing, is in front of our home crowd, big day for the club, sending off one of our legacy players in Andrew Gaff, and I don't have the answers as individuals. You have to ask them that. We can only sort of collectively own this.
Cripps went into beast mode today. How hard was it trying to stop him, and what did you try?
Yeah, well, he wasn't alone. Hewitt was pretty good in there too, but we tried a couple of things, but once again, we gave tasks to individuals and they didn't follow. And when you give a task to someone and they don't execute their role, well, then you're searching for other players to step up in that space that really shouldn't have had to. So that's the accountability for that individual to make sure they get it done. But he was enormous. I think by half time with 21 possessions, he was on his way. Luckily we sort of curtailed his influence a little bit, but then the damn walls break and the numbers, and when you've got too many numbers that you're dealing with in and around the football, and it's left to too few again, it's hard work.
So did you have a tag on him, but the guy didn't tag him properly?
Not so much a tag, it's more of just accountability. The game, even though they're in the modern game, there is still some old task football, I suppose, methods you go to, and that's just being accountable to a player. No different to a backman playing on a forward. So at the end of the day, certain individuals need to take ownership of messaging and performances from that game.
Jarrad, how disheartening is it to see, finals isn't an option for you guys, but there's a lot of careers on the line here, there's guys playing for a spot on the list. How disheartening is it to see a performance like that when there was so much to play for?
Yeah, well, as I said, there's a lot to play for the club generally. As I mentioned, Gaffy, Cripps, the members. And there's some guys out there that are playing, maybe for list spots. And we've got to respect that also. That can also have an impact on individuals, because they're doing their best. It's not that they can go out there to not try. But there's opportunities for players to showcase. There's experienced players that are obviously in the twilight of their careers. But once again, collectively, we're a team. and we can't, I suppose, get caught up on that. All we've got to do is just get better as a football side. And we talk about being consistent, we talk about being able to sustain it for longer. All the simple message, I'm giving the same message over and over again, and that's what we say to the players, and that's all we expect of them. When we get better at that, we'll get more consistent performances, and we won't get performances like today.
Did they bring a different game to what you expected, the way that Carlton played that forward line and, I guess, high handball type game?
No, we know that they're a high handball team. They're not really a meters game handball side, but their ability to flick the ball around the contest. When we were good, we were good. When for most parts, we weren't. We couldn't get our hands on them. Their forward line structure, we knew that was going to be a little bit different, obviously a little bit smaller. Kept going forward, probably thought it was McGovern, but it was the same sort of look. I think where I think they respected our front half, from all reports, is we couldn't win a contest forward of the ball. We couldn't really take marks. I think they had about 14 or 15 marks in our forward 50. Our guys have been pretty good in that space. And when you're not getting on your terms when you do go forward with the ball, it makes it hard. They set up the ground a little bit different in the second quarter. And that's probably where we got a little bit unsettled with chasing where they were because they had it on their terms. And with a group that we're still got some inexperienced players that are learning the caper of AFL footy, and they were in those positions that we were moving around, we're trying to settle them down. And then there's other parts of the game. So there was a couple of things that they threw at us, but not really. We knew that their forward line was going to be different. As I said, I think early on in the week, I know they've got their injuries to deal with. But if you look at it, they lost Sard out of their back line. Out of their midfield, they lost no one. And in their front half, they obviously lost two key tools, which made them look a little bit different. But they stacked up behind the ball. They won the ball around the contest, and that's the game.
Disappointed. You seem disappointed with a few players in particular. Going into the last round, if you have an opportunity, is that a learning opportunity and they learn and go on next week? Or is there something in the waffle that you're going to send them back and bring up others? You've got some kids out there playing well.
Yeah, we have. As I said before, we're not here to hand out games. So we watched. It wasn't a great game for the Waffle boys yesterday, swimming around at Claremont Oval. But yeah, there's some guys that we want to look at. Clay Hall misses out today, but he'll look to bring him back into the team, give him another go at it. We want to make sure that our players finish off strongly, and our young fellas that have been exposed over the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, we want to make sure we give them another opportunity to keep growing because they're going to be better for it going into pre-season. But yeah, we'll have a look at what's in there in the Waffle and see what it does, and obviously what we come out of this game as well.